Hey, good morning. Are we live now?
We are.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Yay. How are you doing this fine Monday, Terry?
I'm awesome. It's
We
Monday.
It's Monday. It's Monday. We had a larger company meeting today, so we had to get up super early, get things going. I don't know about everybody else, but Mondays are like you love it, but sometimes you don't always love it. And it's always trying to figure everything out and set yourself up for a really great week. So, um, we are going to be joined today by Marie Ysais, and she is running a few minutes behind. I have connected with her this morning. So, we're going to do a little bit of filler content until she gets on. And what is the biggest thing that you are looking forward to this quarter? So that's January, February, March.
Um, Automations. I'm doing a lot of automation tests and learning how to do the AI assistant stuff. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun the next 3 months for sure. And then I think the biggest thing is looking forward to is Rank Masters Conference in Orlando. Just because it's all about business growth and personal growth. And that's kind of like people have heard before, it's the phase we're in to
Yep.
grow that way. And, but yeah, I think I'm looking forward to this quarter a lot. So,
Awesome. I am definitely looking forward to Rank Masters. I know, like everyone out there has heard us fangirl over the event. It's very much in line with the way we do events, and sometimes that's hard to find. Find your tribe, and so we've been very pleased with the connections that we've made within the group, the value and the education that we've gotten within the group. So looking forward to connecting with those. And I know each event that they do, few new people pop in and out. So that's always been pretty exciting.
sure has.
So awesome. Let's see what else is going on. I know second quarter, you're looking forward to spring training. I already know that.
Yeah, yeah. Spring training is going to be incredible. So, we'll talk a little bit more towards the end of this podcast about spring training. But yeah, we did a big announcement last weekend.
Mhm.
That was cool. And then it looks like finally we've got everything figured out with the hotel. That's cool. So, you know,
I have a few little things here and there. I know we don't have the actual schedule. I'm kind of putting together a few things more on the schedule myself. And I know you're pretty close on your speakers, right?
yeah, I've got like three more to go through. The team's going to get together this week and finalize all that stuff. And then we have the schedule. We just don't know where everybody's going to be placed as far as stage or rooms or that type of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's we're super excited. This thing's really going to be epic. And I said that every year, but just looking at the caliber of speakers and some of the different things we're changing up, I'm super excited about the affiliate panel, just because there's so much out there about, is affiliate dead? Is all this other stuff? And I'm here to tell you it's not dead. And, the affiliate panel will be very exciting, especially because it's a different form of SEO. When you become good at SEO, you want to start making money for yourself. And so affiliate falls right in there. And the only thing I tell people is that there's always somebody that wants to sell their products. So find those people, work out a deal, do your magic and sell your product. So, but good deal.
Yay, Maria's here.
I made it
Yay. Awesome. So, how's your Monday shaking out for you?
badly. Badly. It's been one of those Mondays where we're kind of running around trying to turn everything back on. We had a power outage and I don't know, it's just one thing after another. And so we're trying to, turn everything back on,
Yeah.
find all your information because it was one of those things where a transformer blew up like I don't know, in the middle of the night, took them forever to fix it. And then we ended up doing like a shelter in place for some reason. Nobody knows why. I don't know. It was just a lot.
Interesting. So you kind of woke up in that panic, like on Home Alone, like, oh my God, we slept in.
Yes, that's what we're doing now because we were so tired from all the drama. Then we slept late. I'm running around trying to get ready, and it's just, you know how it goes.
I know how it goes.
So how have you guys been?
Good.
Well,
Really?
crazy, but we're good. So, but yeah, no, it's been I mean, Christmas was really interesting this year just because it seemed like the world just shut down for like 3 weeks because it was in the middle of the week, both
It did.
Christmas and New Year's. And it's like, okay, do you work a day before?
Yes, it was messed up this year. It was kind of, the whole thing was kind of like a vacation because there wasn't enough time in between the holidays to start and stop. And then everyone just kind of takes off anyway and does like their party mode. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's all back.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And Christmas is still up at our house. I looked at it this morning going, gee, what is it, like the 27th?
See, I feel better about mine because I put mine up last week and I looked at it and went, this is ridiculous. I've got to get it up. But I don't know, life of a SEO, I guess. I don't know. It seems like time goes by fast. We don't have time to do much.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just got mine put up. I felt bad about it as it was.
Right on. How's hubby and the kids?
They're all good. We are now officially empty nesters. Everyone left.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So we are adjusting to that. And our youngest joined the Navy. So he's in the Navy. Our oldest ran off and got married. So we're living the life.
oh
Cool.
my gosh.
So you got an RV with a satellite on top and ready to go travel and do internet on the road or what?
Yes, that's the thing. As soon as our kids moved out, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do everything with my business I ever wanted to do that I was just too busy. And then they moved out and I was like, no, I don't want to be here. I want to travel. Like I want to do all of these things. It's like all of a sudden you're out of prison or something. I don't know. And now we just want to do things and I don't want to work that much. And so now it's like, it's a weird feeling.
It really is. I mean, we're looking for, we almost bought an RV before COVID, and then now we're looking again. And same type of thing is this, with our business, as long as you got internet, you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really freaking cool, especially now that, I just talked to a guy a couple weeks ago that has the Elon Musk's internet for the RV. And
cool.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said it's just incredible. And he said very rarely in the middle of the forest he can't get, he gets connected in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right.
We have friends that use it in the middle of the mountains and they do really well with it. So yeah, at first we thought we were just going to settle down and be here and do all the things. And then we're like, we just don't want to be home. It's, I don't know, everything changed in the blink of an eye. It really did.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So,
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We made
it's
it.
always a goal. We've got our oldest is still here with us. So
Our youngest,
excuse me. And yeah, so she's talking about getting out. So we're like, okay, this is getting ready to be really cool. So
yeah,
when you leave, can I help you? Here's, can I pay $1,000 a month for you to move out?
yeah.
I know you say that, but then, with all the other kids being out and one of our kids just moved out of state like last week. And so like there for the while, we had everybody all in the Valley, the Phoenix area. And so everybody was within like 20, 30 minutes of us. And, Sunday dinner is a big thing. We do that every Sunday. And so now it's like the dynamic has changed a little bit. And going forward, we'll have to see kind of how that goes. So I know Terry's like ready for kids to be gone, but then I don't know that I am. Like, I'm a mom. I'm always a mom, and they can always come home. So.
Yes, believe me, I was super tired of the mom, but then we cried our eyes out when they started leaving. And so it's a weird thing that we're in, and we're in that now. If we want to go out to dinner, we can go out to dinner without asking everybody, what do you want to eat tonight? And it feels like we've been like we've been released from something, I don't know what, and we're like, we can eat what we want, we can do, and no one's here to like talk about it. So we're in a weird stage. It's almost like our parents have moved out
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we're like reliving and figuring out what we want to do. And it's not what we thought when the kids were here.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Well, and the great thing is that, I mean, from what we've seen, you have a strong relationship with your spouse, and that's
Yeah.
the critical thing. Like, so many people that like we know, like the kids move out and you're like, who is this stranger,
Yes.
Whereas Terry and I have always maintained our relationship,
Yes.
run away for lunch dates and
Yeah.
connect and do all the things. And so, I mean, that's a good thing that you still like each other now that the kids are
Yes.
gone.
Yeah. Believe it or not, a lot of people get divorced once their kids
Mhm.
move out. I've seen that.
Yeah.
They just start divorcing because they figured out they don't really like each other. And so ours was completely different. We maintained a really close relationship too, thank God, because it made it easier when they did start moving out. Because at first it was I was shocked at first.
Mhm.
As bad as I wanted them to move out and for my life to change, it was also a very shocking, traumatic experience. So
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy. So, well, anyway, so yeah, everybody, subscribe. We do this every Monday. Like us, share us, do all that fancy stuff. But yeah, it's so great to have you. Gosh, I think you and I have known each other since 2017.
yeah,
Maybe.
too many years to count almost.
Yep, for sure. And and you're an on-page girl, which means that you're in my tribe. Um, so yeah, that's really cool. But so yeah, Elizabeth came up with some questions to ask you, so we're gonna put you under the hot seat.
Oh God, I hope I even know the answers.
All
We'll get
right.
into some industry specific things later, but like, what is one fun or surprising thing that most people don't know about you?
About me?
Yes.
That I don't do SEO 24/7. That might be a little shocking. But I'm a real person. But no, lately I think I've been more in the recovery space. And so that was shocking to a lot of people because for a long time I wasn't. But the last couple of years I've done a lot of recovery and just working with the different algo updates that were going on. And I have not been like in the regular SEO space, just with, regular clients where you just jam them to the top and boom, you're, doing really well. I've just been more focused on the recovery lately, which was a little surprising. I've had messages come up where they're like, are you still here? What are you doing? What's going on? So I did a pretty big shift.
Yeah. Because you were, I wouldn't say like super public, but you had a very active Facebook group.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of things going on, and then all of a sudden that kind of changed, and then we didn't see or hear from you for a while. So
yeah. I took a step back. I had a lot of work going on, and I took a step back from the public space a lot so that I could, I was doing a lot of really big brand work and recovery work with some really big names, and I just didn't have the time to pour as much into the public space. So I took a step back, and I kind of liked it. I'm kind of ready to go back and start talking about maybe, a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing. Look, lately with recovery work, we've had a lot more local type sites come in. So they're national or they're in 6 different states or whatever it is, but they're more local instead of just the typical affiliate that we usually think of getting into trouble.
Right. Okay. Cool. What are some common misconceptions that people may have about you or, the work that you've done? I know you've got a pretty strong reputation for on page, but do people
Mhm.
just assume that you do all the things?
No, they don't. I think I trained everybody really well to know that I'm specifically on page. But I think the really big misconception that I'm having where there's a disconnect right now is that when you go to have your site recovered from an update, that it's like really simple and you can fix it in like 4 weeks. That's the biggest. Everyone wants everything yesterday, and it's true in recovery work. But from what I'm looking at, they have compounded issues on their site that they have done year after year for many years. And it's a lot of like untying little knots that has been created. And they didn't create it on purpose or try to do anything. It's just the way they were performing SEO, I guess. So the biggest misconception is that, yeah, you can go, I'll look at it for 4 weeks and boom, they're back to the top and like nothing ever happened. And honestly, it's months and months of really hard, intense work.
Yeah, I love telling this story, and I'm big and on page doing all the different testing that we do, and I mean, internal linking right now, I tell people is probably the number one thing right now. And I had the very first on-page class I did, one of my students messaged me. He goes, "Have you looked at your Solterra site lately?" And I was like, "Oh no, here we go."
No, my site is the last.
And he definitely pointed out a lot of the stuff that I teach, is opposite on my own website.
Yes.
And so we happen to be in San Diego and working vacation because we don't ever get a vacation. And I spent all weekend going through Solterra's site. It's a 12-year-old site, and I was shocked at some of the old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally 300 or 400 words.
Yeah.
I had one, took a snapshot of this, a 350 word blog, and I had 7 internal links and 3 external links. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I call that the good old days. Those were the good old days. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I was jamming out those pages too. 300 words tops, 400 maybe if I was feeling extra wordy. And this stuff worked and it ranked. And internal linking, we were doing all kinds of crazy stuff that just cannot pass by, but if anyone looked at my site, their biggest question is, because I'm known for on-page and really clean techniques, but my site is complete black hat. Anything I ever wanted to do, I did to that site because it was like my site. So I didn't, I was like, go for it. And so when they look at it, they're like, what is this? What did you do? And I'm like, anything and everything I've ever wanted to do. I just applied it to that one. So
yeah.
You can't play around with client sites that way. You can't take chances. You've got to make sure that's spot on and buttoned up.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and over the last year, we've got clients that have been with us, 8 and 9 years, and over the last year, we've literally had to go back to their sites the same way, and take 3 or 4 light content blogs and combine them into one, redirect, all that stuff. And I'm a huge believer nowadays in page pruning and all the things that you have to do.
All the fun stuff. Yeah, it's much more labor intense now. I will say that. We used to get away with, hardly working compared to what we're having to do now. Now we're doing a lot more. And like you, I have a lot of clients that I've had for many years and work, once a year I go through their site and clean up whatever's no longer working or used to work, but I know we're, moving into something else and removing very specific patterns that we used to work with. So it's constantly evolving, just constantly moving.
100%.
Awesome. Okay. Since you've been in the game for a while, I don't know if there's like a certain demographic that maybe don't know your history or whatever, but what got you started in SEO? Like where did you come from?
Yeah, so I actually came from an app development company way back in the day, and this was years ago. I co-owned an app development company, and we needed SEO. We needed to show up, and we hired and fired 2 really big SEO agencies in the area. And I realized that it was a shit show, basically, to hire an SEO agency. And this was years ago. I didn't know what they were doing. I couldn't tell they had done anything, and we didn't get any phone calls. There was no phones weren't ringing. And so I just decided to do it myself. At night, I would study SEO. During the day, I would do app development stuff. At night, just worked on SEO, jammed the site up. We were ranking really well in like 5 different countries. The phone was ringing like crazy. We had more than enough work. Everyone was happy about it. But I became addicted to the SEO side of it. And so I eventually walked away from the app company to create an SEO agency for myself. And that's when it got started.
That's awesome. I mean, it feels like you know what to offer a client because you've been in that client position.
Yeah.
You know? And that's a valuable place to be in. A lot of good information, like, you know.
It is. It really is. Since I was the client for a while, I could see the dynamics of, I knew what I was seeing. So I knew, to come in and close some of that up. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's still hard working with some clients, but you really have to dig into their business. And I need to know so much of what's going on to do a good job with SEO. But SEO is addicting. And I didn't know that when I first started. I didn't know it was addicting at all, but hook, line, and sinker, it's like all I could think about.
Nice. Nice. What piece of advice do you wish you had like earlier on in your career?
I think what I wish someone had told me early on is that it's constantly changing. Google's constantly changing, and it's not our fault when we wake up the next day and we're going through an update or whatever it is, because Google has changed whatever. I used to take it real hard or think that, there was a stigma at first when sites would go down and SEOs would say, oh, you had sites go down because you were doing something bad. You were just doing wrong, black hat, whatever it was. And I think we put a lot on our shoulders, and Google's constantly changing. I can't tell you what Google's going to do next. I just know how to safeguard what we've already been through. I've picked out patterns that we're able to safeguard from. But moving forward, next month, next week, whenever it is, Google will, throw something else in there. And as SEOs, I think we take it really hard, but really it's just a lesson in it's constantly changing, constantly moving, and we're constantly learning, and not to take it so hard.
What keeps you motivated with that? Sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, and that's one of the biggest miscommunications that people have that conversation with their clients. They know right from the get-go, if they hire us, I'm not Google. Shit's going to go up. Shit's going to go down. Shit's going to get suspended.
That's right.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, that's right.
You hire me to hopefully fix it when it does happen.
Yeah. And I think we learned that, and I think you may have learned that too with time. At first, when we were all green coming into this, we would take it a little bit differently. But now looking through our experience, and we've been in the game for so long, and you guys too, that now we're able to look at it and say, hey, we can't tell you what Google's going to do. We just know what we're supposed to be doing. And, it can get intense with clients, that's for sure. Because they think, I wish I pulled Google strings, because that would be a lot more fun.
Yeah. And then, it's, especially when you get a legit map suspended for no reason, shit like that. Just, I've seen clients lose a couple hundred leads a month when that happens.
They do.
And, that's the time to have a conversation about, okay, well, let's look at some pay-per-click or something to try to at least generate some leads back while we get that fixed. And again, there's not a 1-800 Google. I know. It's amazing how many clients say, well, can't you call them? Well, no. Email. Sometimes we get, sometimes we were able to get an email address, especially, through the pay-per-click world. And you email that email address, and of course they have it set up to where you can't, you can only talk to them through a reply. You can't email them new. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's pretty screwed up, Google. So
it is.
Now I have Marie at google.com, and now I can't email her unless she emails me first.
Yes. Yeah.
So just clients have no idea. They just think Google's like, oh, hey, what happened? Can we fix it?
Yeah. I wish it was that easy, but you're right. It's really hard. I have tweeted at Google. I have done all the things to try to get a representative to actually directly speak to, so that I can say, hey, that one was a mistake. That's a legit company. They weren't doing anything crazy. We followed all of the rules. What can we do? And then even at that point, it can take you 3 to 4 weeks to work with them to bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it several times. It's hair pulling. And
I've got one client that we've done 2 video verifies, and it still hasn't unlocked yet. And they say, oh, we got it, but they don't give us, you don't even get a reply saying, no, it wasn't good enough, or it's in limbo. It's like, really?
We went through that too. And, or they would say this was wrong and that was wrong. And then we did it 20 times before they finally said, okay. And these are legit, reputable companies. I'm not talking about, me trying to put one up there. So it's crazy.
Yep, for sure. So next on your questions, Miss Elizabeth.
Next on my questions. Well, I mean, what keeps you motivated? Knowing that, you're going to have to kind of reverse engineer and guess what Google has done and see how it, has affected client sites. It's it's a constant moving target. What keeps you motivated?
For me, I like it's like a puzzle. So I like that aspect of it. Changing different things, wiggling different things, trying to see what will pull it out. To me, that's the fun part. But it does it takes a lot of time because you're talking about, hundreds of different factors and then trying to figure out which one threw the site over into jeopardy. Which is probably why it takes so long and you have combinations of factors too. So it's
right.
But for me, that's the fun part. I love figuring that part out, and there's no feeling like it when you finally get it all back in the green. There's like no feeling like it. It's crazy.
Exactly. And then a lot of people don't realize, or maybe you haven't paid attention, but 10 of the last 12 updates were all based around content.
Yes.
And that's the first place you need to look. I mean, if something goes down, and then also you and I have been preaching this for years, just because you went down today, don't jump in and start fixing things now. You got to let this thing play out a little bit, because most of them, I mean, the December update brought a lot of the October updates back.
Yes.
That's the way stuff happens. But
there
are some glaring signs, though. If you have a bunch of pages that have 350 words, it's not going to hurt to add 350 more or whatever.
Right. Right.
But with AI and ChatGPT now, that's a pretty simple process.
It is.
Back when we had 300 or 400 words, we paid $30 for those 300 or 400 words.
Right.
And nowadays it's just like, hey, give me a detail.
Yeah, it's like seconds now for much of a cost. So it's crazy. But and also we have sites that get hit, but then completely do fine. Once it's fully rolled out and Google's done, they recover and do fine. And it's not that they were going to be hit. It's just there's, sites that Google's throwing around a little bit, but then it comes out fine. And they're glad they didn't fix 700 things all of a sudden because it just bounced right back out. So you really have to wait it out, which is nerve-wracking for businesses. I understand that but you have to sit on your hands at that point. I know you want to run in and do a million things, but it just makes it worse.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and I think that you are very aligned in with us that if you do the right thing from the beginning, you don't have as much to fix,
Right.
If you have your on-page solid, you look at all the technical aspects, you're not throwing spaghetti against the wall. You're not trying to guess. It's like you've got your foundational core practices. And that's kind of how we operate as well, so that you're not scrambling, But again, if you're black hat and stuff, then, things shake out differently.
It does. And also it changed a lot too, where, SEO is constantly moving and changing. And if you're not staying up to date with that, you can get caught up in a lot of updates. But also Google has been able to spot typical patterns that SEOs use. Very simple patterns, keywords in certain areas, certain headings, certain meta titles, and they're able to use a lot of that against us. And if you compile that with maybe backlink issues or whatever it is, there's hundreds of factors, but if you compile that, then you start getting sites into trouble. So sometimes it's people doing what they think they should be doing for SEO, but Google's gotten a whole lot better at spotting very specific patterns, and it can get you into trouble. So part of the problem I have is when I come in and say, hey, we need to fix this. And they're like, wait, that's always worked. It's worked for 5 years. It's done me really well. And I'm like, yeah, but things change. What used to work may not work as great moving forward.
Right.
And you were like out of the top 100. So it's not going to hurt us. And yes, it's typical SEO things. And what gets into people's head is, but it's still working over there for that competitor. They're doing it.
Mhm.
And
Apples
it's
and
like,
oranges.
yes. And it's like, guys, we're not comparing. We're not 100% across the board. There's several differences between your site, their site,
Yeah.
on factors that too many to count at this point. So that is messing with a lot of people's head. So when I come in and make recommendations, they're like, that's just typical SEO. That's always worked. Yes, but if we can reverse that and you go back to the top 10, it's about patterns, spotting the patterns, reversing it. It's just a mess because it plays with people's head. If it was absolute and Google came in and trashed every single site with that very specific pattern, it would be way easier to spot. But Google has never been absolute. It has never been 100% across the board in any of their updates. We've been having this argument for years that, we would spot a problem and say, hey, if you fix that, you'll be out of trouble. And they're like, yeah, but so-and-so is doing it and they're at the top right now. So
Exactly.
Sounds like high school.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's just like, it's one of the things, well, kind of two parts, that one of the second part I'll ask you about. But the biggest thing, people need to understand that Google doesn't read. It's all about signals. Google doesn't see left or right.
Yeah, and on multiple levels.
Exactly. And there's 5, at least according to Search Console now, there's 5 different search bots. And they all crawl the pages differently. And so, and there's some cross-linking and all this stuff. And if you aren't especially around content, if you aren't in the testing phase and you don't do testing, you really should start doing testing. One of the things we do now that we didn't do before very much was FAQs. And when Google came out and said they don't read FAQs, I was like, okay, let's see about that. And, positive test, every page gets FAQs now. So, it's little things like that you want to make sure that you're, read the lines. Yeah, they might not read FAQ, but they're still picking signals. They're still picking signals out of images. They're still picking stuff. And so, when you go through all these different updates, you really kind of set yourself up for failure if you're not paying attention to, the different trends out. It's all about trends. And I try to get people off of 1, 2, and 3 rankings very, very quickly. It's about trends. If we're going after this product or this service, is our trend going up or is it going down? And this second part to that is, I know you and I have talked about the different on-page tools.
Right.
And I have arguments with people, including, my good friend Ted and Kyle and all these people about tools. And I do believe that they definitely serve a purpose, but I also believe that people are using them as 100%.
Yes.
Instead of looking at it on desktop and then, more importantly, looking at it on mobile.
If you're using any tool 100%, it's going to get you into trouble. Even the tools that I love and use every day, it's not at 100%. You're also having to use your experience. How many times, all the sites that you've worked on, you have to combine all of that together. There's no tool that can give you 100%. You do everything and not get into some type of trouble. And I think the tools serve the crowd well if you're in SEO and you're working across multiple sites and you can pick up on trends. But it's the people who only have maybe one site that use the tool, and maybe you don't have a lot of the experience to know the tool's asking me to do XYZ, but I gotta, hold back a little bit for whatever reason. So any of the tools are great. And if you're using them and it's working really well, great. But it's also the ability of the end user.
100%, and you have to take things from a grain of salt and then actually go in and look at the sites these tools are pulling from.
Yes.
One of the big shockers to me is, I love Ted's tool. It's my favorite. It's my go-to, Cora. If I have a stubborn page, I pull Cora out. There's no doubt about it. But the first time I used it, I can't remember what test I was doing, but it told me to add like 17 images. And I'm just like, what do you mean? The page isn't big enough for 17 images.
Yeah.
And then you go and look at the sites that you selected to test
Yes.
from, and you go there and they have a slider that has 17 images on it that Quora picks up. And
Yeah.
so there's some really different things about that. You have to take all those as a grain of salt and say, yeah, I agree. I need to add an H3 with the keyword in it.
Yes. Yes.
But don't sit there and, just, it's like trying to get the green button from Yoast. Don't sit there and try to get the green button from Yoast.
Yeah. Yeah. And, don't try and get into 100, even the scores, how we get the scores. Don't try and hammer 100%. And, it's just, you have to have some type of experience. And I believe across multiple sites to be able to use your experience, to use the tools properly with your background in SEO.
100%. So, well, what else is on that list, Elisabeth? The Marie list.
I know. If you could collaborate with anyone, who would you collaborate with, and what would it be about?
That's a good question because I don't know at the moment. So that's a really good question. My collab would probably be on page, of course, or, maybe I would collab with someone that's known for maybe off page and, try to combine the two or something. I've often thought about something like that, but the actual person, I don't know at the moment. I haven't thought about something like that in a long, long time.
So who do you fangirl in our industry?
So some of that has changed for me. So some of the people that I was fangirling over, I no longer do for whatever reason. So I still like to listen to a lot of what Ted says with Quora because he can, he's checking trends in a different way than what I am. So I love to hear what he has to say. I also talk a lot to Carolyn Holtzman. So if I see something really weird, I'll get her on the phone and say, hey, have you ever seen something like this or whatever? So we'll go back and forth quite a bit if I'm seeing something super crazy. But maybe my older age, I'm not fangirling the way I used to. I don't know. Something has shifted for me. I still respect a lot of the people in our industry, Terry, of course, Carolyn, Ted, but I think it's changed for me because I used to come in and fangirl over handfuls of people, and now I just kind of see them as regular people, and it's probably getting older, so I'm seeing things differently.
And especially after you meet these people and even start having a semi-relationship with them, because I tell people all the time, until I met Matt Diggity, Matt and I he's awesome. I love following him. I love he does the best videos, I think, in the industry.
Yes, he does.
And I've met him, I think, 3 or 4 times now. So it's more of a friendship thing.
It kind of, it develops into a different space. I don't, but the same thing, I used to fangirl over Matt Diggity all the time. Anytime he produced anything, I would read it, study it, go over it. And then a lot of that shifted, and probably because I started paying more attention to on page. So that person shifted for me. And it shifted a few times. But I, now just have a lot more friendships. I call people, talk to them as soon as I see something odd. There's, certain people I talk to for off page. There's certain people I talk to for on page, and, kind of go at it that way. But I do believe it's very important for us to keep communicating with as many people as possible because we're all seeing something different and all have different knowledge to offer the other person.
Yeah, for sure. That's 100%. What are you doing in AI right now? Have you had much time to play with it and stuff?
I have not had a lot of time to play with AI, so I'm going to come clean with something else that I've been working on. So I started working a lot more on TikTok, which is, yes, I know, it's crazy. But I fell in love with the platform and also the ability to jam your income up with affiliate over there is absolutely insane. But now I'm hanging on, wondering if our government's going to shut it down or keep it. Who knows? There's a lot of drama with TikTok. But I fell in love with TikTok because honestly, within weeks, you're able to gain thousands of thousands.
Right.
It's probably, this platform is probably the easiest to gain a large amount of income very quickly. So I hope the government doesn't shut it down, because you have a ton of people over there making just crazy money. It's like,
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of the beginning of like the SEO gold rush that we all experienced.
Mhm.
That's what's going on. So I took on work and then started gearing down from some of that work. So I'm still working on sites. I'm still working in recovery, but I'm not working on as many as I was. And I did not jump full force. So for AI, we're using it to help bulk up pages, create content that we need to do. That's how we're using AI, but my focus split a little bit more into the TikTok world.
Now, will AI help you in TikTok? It seems
It
like
It absolutely does. So what I'm doing now is creating, videos and affiliate videos for TikTok. I use AI to create those videos. So I give AI, I say, hey, I want to make this point, pull me up a video script, give me the hook, give me, XYZ, and it completely does all the work for you. So AI it's changing how we do everything. So yes, I use AI every day for TikTok, to even make better hooks, make better points about it will even read about the product and give me points that I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's what's, cause I even, I've been doing schema a little while. And I started using, just a little while, and I started using chat to say, hey, here's all the things that I can put into this type.
Mhm.
You tell me how it should be formatted and laid out so it makes sense.
Yes.
And that type of stuff, I think AI, especially like we do a lot of content clusters now. We don't really we don't write one blog about one thing, one blog about one thing.
Mhm.
But AI gives us those topics through people also ask or queries or something. And that's the thing that I love about AI, because it gives you those ideas of topics and things to do that you didn't even freaking think of.
Yes, I love that about, and also, we'll feed it competitors' content and compare it to our content, because I'm looking for the gap, and it does it really super quick. And so AI is good for many things. Even if you're not doing SEO, AI is really changing how we operate.
For sure. Yep, definitely. And that's why it's here's our little pitch into spring training. But that's why in spring training this year, 2 of the breakout rooms, one's going to be AI, one's going to be automation.
Oh yeah.
I also believe that especially agencies or even freelancers, if you're not looking at automating your processes, you are going to be left behind.
Yes,
That's even as simple as onboarding clients, creating reports, all this that AI can do for you in automation. That's the stuff that excites me, is freaking taking, okay, here's Solterra's onboarding process, these 90 steps. I can automate 82 of them, and that's the thing. That's the exciting part, is because, it probably takes us 45 minutes the old way to onboard a client properly, and that's before we even talk to them as far as the process. But that's the cool thing that I love about the automation side, especially with Make. Matter of fact, I just deleted Zapier yesterday, finally, and because Make has completely taken it over.
Yes.
And so we don't use Zapier at all, and Zapier kept breaking anyways. But it's really cool. We're doing some stuff with automation as far as we built our own syndication systems. So one blog post goes out to these 20 different social sites that we created. So it's really friggin' cool what you can do with this stuff. So
if you don't embrace it and kind of go with it, you're going to be left behind, like you said. So it's changing how we do everything. You have people who will even use it, I don't know, to create a diet plan, a grocery list, anything that we're doing. We are starting to involve AI. And so I just had a call the other day that someone called and said, hey, are you doing SEO? Do you do AI SEO? So everyone's starting to kind of shift and think, and it's going to be a whole new world for us. So you better embrace it.
Exactly. There is a thing, we've been testing it, especially on the schema side, that when you can start getting into Perplexity and all these other, AI search engines and stuff, you need to see where they're pulling this content from.
Yes.
And you can reverse engineer that stuff, especially Google. Google stuff's easy to reverse engineer because Google right now is pulling a snippet from 3 different websites to come up with the answer. And they give you the little pay-per-click to show you which snippet they grab from where.
Yes.
And just start looking at that stuff and sit there and say, and again, your clients don't have to see the content. This is content you can put in the back end. I'm not a hidden div guy. I'm a schema guy.
Yeah.
But, but you can put that type of content in there that Google and, I think Bing's way ahead of Google because they actually have ChatGPT.
Yes.
But you need to pay attention to those queries and where they're getting the answers from and write that way too. So, I believe in local. I think we're a long way from AI taking the place of, local plumber, emergency plumber, that's not going to pop up. But if you say, how long should a water heater last? That's the type of AI questions that are going to come up and answers.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll slowly see it evolve. I mean, one day, sure, but we might not be here by the time it happens. But yeah, we'll slowly watch it evolve into that. But it's slow.
Yep, it is. So, anyways, gosh, you're coming back to spring training.
I will be back. I'm pulling myself back in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it was so great when you said yes, because I know, like you said, you've been doing some health stuff. You've been doing some, you've kind of, doing kind of a 2-fold, 3-fold thing going on.
Yeah.
And obviously nesting, but super excited. Matter of fact, I yelled from my office to Elisabeth's office when you said yes. Because it's, I don't want to put male, female in here, but there's not very many females in this business. And
there's really not.
And then really, if you really get to know these people, you and Honey and Monique and, super intelligent way of thinking compared to a male's way of thinking. And
and it's just different. It's just different. And, when I went out, I think I was in like your very first spring training, I really got to know you and Elisabeth, like on a personal level for the first time, and the hospitality and the care, it's the actual care that you put into all of us that were speaking. Elisabeth picked me up from the airport. Like it was just a personal touch, is what I pulled away from it. You guys are really personable and actually care about the people. And that was different from some of the other conferences. So I'm happy to be back, and it'll be fun. And I think we'll all learn a whole lot while we're there.
Now, do you know your topic yet? Because TikTok might be changing if you don't.
Yeah, if TikTok gets axed. But I've got something I've been working on with a lot of my recovery, which is a really big case study that I've been working on. And I'll probably focus on that because it's really shocking what took the site down. And I think it's a really good lesson for all of us. And the fact that it was local, we're seeing stuff in local that we only used to see in affiliate. And I think it's good that we go ahead and make that bridge.
Yeah.
And start preparing everybody, because it's going to get more and more intense, like we saw in affiliate land. And it's just Google's capabilities are so much better than what they were. So I think it's really important that we talk about that and start picking apart some of what's going on, because, businesses go down in a blink of an eye. The business I'm working on was on the brink of losing everything. And he's feeding his family, his kids. So, and it was just a long story. So that's what I'll be focusing on when I'm there.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, because it's, just like you said, and I'm excited. This is the first year we're actually going to have an affiliate panel. So, with James Dooley, Craig Campbell, these guys, power hitters in affiliate. And, I hear all the time on Facebook how affiliate SEO is dead. And I'm just like, there's always going to be somebody that wants to sell their product. And they'll pay you to sell their product for them.
Yeah.
And if you're talking Amazon, Amazon, you're going to continue to struggle. The Amazon, Amazon golden flag flew a long time ago.
Yeah.
But if you can make a deal out with somebody to give you 30% of everything you sell on your website, that's the affiliate world.
Yes. And that's the beauty of TikTok. I'll say it one more time. We're making deals at 20, 30%, brand deals that are giving complete retainers, and it's completely different than working on it when you had a website. So it's also really exciting. And if they don't shut it down, like a bunch of people, I won't say the words, but
I think somebody's going to buy them out. But then the question comes up is, how's that change the platform?
Yes, because we'll muck around with it and change the algo.
I saw a thing that Microsoft might buy them. Well, I'm sorry, but Microsoft screwed up almost every freaking thing they ever bought.
Yeah. And then everyone was saying maybe Elon will buy it. And Elon did some, crazy shit over on X when he first bought it too. So yeah, it's good. We'll see how it goes, but it's if they don't mess with it, it'll be a really good thing. But we'll see how it's going to take out. I mean, it's complete drama around the whole situation. I just don't buy into the whole narrative that they've spun around it. And I'm guessing that you guys kind of feel the same, because I know a lot of that we align with. But complete garbage going on.
I agree. It could be a threat from something, bigger that we don't even know about, but who knows? It's, I personally don't use the platform, but I know all of our kids do.
Yeah.
Elizabeth does,
there's,
it's not going away.
Yeah, I was shocked to find out there's 700 million United States businesses on TikTok. Some of the biggest brands are coming on. So we'll see, because it's a lot of drama.
Exactly. So Elisabeth, tell people about the big announcement we did last weekend.
So the announcement that we did is we have ticket payments for SEO Spring Training. We typically have not done that in the past, but for the next couple of weeks, we can break it down into 3 payments, and that's for all levels. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that maybe, new year, everybody kind of tightens their budget in January. You're recovering from the holidays, or, you had all your write-offs for the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so, everybody's on a diet, whether it's, nutrition or financial. So we wanted to give people options that, maybe haven't been out to check it out. We think it's our absolute favorite marketing conference, and I want other people to be able to experience it. So we have the 3 different ticket levels. We have our, business access, which is, just the basic entry level for the conference. You're still going to get a ton of value. You're going to interact with everybody.
It's 2.5 days now.
Yeah. So we're still kind of working on the schedule. I have everything written out on my whiteboard, but, we always do a welcome reception for everybody. Speakers, attendees, VIPs, everybody comes to the welcome reception, and snacks. There's a cash bar. Let's kind of get to know each other before we kick off the event. And then last year we did main stage in the morning and breakout rooms in the afternoon, and everybody loved it. It was a little bit different. You're not stuck sitting in your chair for 8 hours. And like, if you were interested in agency growth, you could do that track. Or if you only wanted to do local, it's kind of a build your own adventure, because not everybody wants to sit. If you don't have an agency and you're not looking to grow, the last thing you want to do is just be forced to listen to presentations about that. So we, again, choose your own adventure. And everybody seemed to really love it. It's like, high school again. You're running around to your room and, I want to catch this lecture and this presentation and, some amazing stuff. And then we always have our tech mastermind group, which that's looking to be Sunday afternoon. And that's all of the brains in the room. Let's see what we can break. What can you do? How can you do it? That portion is not recorded for public. It'll never be put out there because I want people to be able to speak freely and not worry about any repercussions for that. The VIP is always, always, always coveted because that's our speakers and our VIP people. We do some offsite stuff. We do fun and games, always food involved. But
this year we're doing 2 workshops for the VIP. Marty Marion and Jordan Pierce are going to do workshops just for the VIP speaker crowd. So if you know those 2 people, that's probably the only time you're going to get to see them is at the VIP workshops. They'll be there for the whole conference, obviously. But so yeah, we're really trying to freaking make sure that this is an experience that people haven't had, in a conference here. So we got some people that want to do some stuff beforehand. There's all kinds of stuff that people are still wanting to do. They're really kind of part of it, but we don't have anything to do with us.
We're not facilitating.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be super awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to come. You're bringing him out too, right?
Yeah. In fact, when I told him, he was like, I am going. I need to talk to Terry. So yeah, it's on. It's like a family adventure. So
awesome. Yeah. Load up that new RV and head to Phoenix.
Right. And we just might stay a while. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, super exciting. So, but yeah, the ticket payments is only until March 1st because of the time frame. You have to have your ticket payments all paid up before you're able to attend. But we wanted to make it easier for people for cash flow stuff and everything else. We should also have the room block link coming soon that Elisabeth will put up on the website so you guys start securing your rooms. The rooms now compared to last year was probably the biggest expense change. So we really got a good deal on rooms this year, and it was harder last year with Scottsdale. So, but yeah, no, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just going to be a freaking blast. So
totally excited.
It will be.
Yeah. So anyways, anything else, Elisabeth, Marie? We're kind of at our hour.
We are. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I think we talked about everything. I'll be coming back a little more publicly now, public facing, I guess. I had my hiatus and now I'm going to come back. I have a lot to say. But other than that, I think we covered it all. We're at that hour, Terry.
Yeah.
It's Monday. We got work to do.
It's Monday.
Well, no, it's funny too, because I was on a podcast and there was 4 of us and this thing was like 3.5 hours long. And it was just like, God. Okay, and I talked like first or second, and I was sitting there going, okay, can I leave? Do I have to stay? But I really, like I said, I love doing these and I like to respect people's time. And then we'll put the recording up on, Facebook and everything in case anybody missed it. But so excited to have you come back. It was, like I said, you were, I think I asked you last year too. I ask you every year.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah. This wasn't right. And then when you said yes this time, I was like, Elizabeth, Marie said yes.
Yeah, I'm coming back, guys. And a lot of that, I did go through a pretty bad health journey for a few years. So a lot of that had to do with that. It wasn't you guys. It wasn't you.
Oh, no.
I just had to scale back. But I'm healthy, back, full. I can't wait to get out there again, see everybody, like Marty. Maybe I fangirl over Marty, I think. He's the one person that I have to listen to every word that he says. So I probably fangirl over Marty still.
Yeah, Marty's something else. He
is. He really is. He really is.
And it was funny too. I tell this little story. I had the pleasure of introducing Marty to our industry, the first spring training. And one of the things we try to do as hosts is we try to bring on speakers that also impress other speakers. And after Marty was done, Clint and Kyle and some other people came up and goes, where the hell do you find him? That was friggin' awesome. It's still SEO, but it's a way of thinking before SEO.
Yeah.
And if you're not thinking that way and helping your clients think that way, then you're gonna be swimming upstream. And
you are.
And you'll be wondering. And Marty's such a big heart. Last year, gosh, I think he held private sessions all over the networking areas. Him and his bow tie, just kicking it around. So
yeah, he's one of a kind. One of a kind.
He is 100%. So, and he messaged me this year. He goes, I want to do a workshop. I want to do a private workshop that I can do for 2 or 3 hours. I said, no problem. I'll just hook you up. So
awesome.
It's going to be awesome. So anyways, thanks everybody for joining. Again, subscribe. We will be back next Monday. We're going to we're really going to do our 2025 goal this year being every Monday. So, last year we kind of fell off the wagon. Anyways, thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Especially with your weather, all the crap you guys are dealing with in Texas.
Right. It's a crazy moment, but yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. All right,
All
perfect.
right.
Thanks everybody.
Bye guys.